Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go Battle League? This isn't BTD6, and if you guys have been longtime viewers of the channel, you'll know that I used to play Pokemon Go back in the day, and I've been getting back into GBL, and I'm having the best season of my entire life. I'm currently at 3092 ELO, which has me at number 235 on leaderboards. This is literally my first time ever hitting leaderboards in the history of this game, and I've just been having so much fun in the Competitors Cup and the new system, Open Great League, and some of the limited formats. It's just been an absolute blast, so I'm going to be bringing a Charizard team. It feels like the Open Great League forgot about Shadow Charizard, and I have two different teams for you guys. The first one running a Celio lead, and the second one running a Shadow Abomasnow lead. We lead into a core breaker right off the bat. We have a Carbink, and this is bad news. I switch into my hard answer because I kind of have to get this Hippowdon on something that it can beat with an energy advantage, but my opponent brings out a Malamar. And what I'm going for here is a shield advantage because I know that I can live a foul play and get off to a second Scorching Sands. So if my opponent lets it go, they'll get deep into the red, which they do. And so now what I'm hoping for is to get an energy advantage on my Shadow, or it's not Shadow, on my regular Celio. And hope that it can put in some work against this Carbink. Two Surfs should be close to KOing, so that's my hope. We're going to go for the first one right before my opponent gets to a Rock Slide. And this is going to do some damage. Is it able to get the opponent into the yellow? And it is, barely. So I think another Surf would be able to get them into the red, but I really need this to be off my Charizard. So I'm going to throw the next Surf, and I did not read that my opponent was going to switch. He tries to snipe with the Annihilate, and he does. But I'm able to get the Surf off. If I was able to switch into the Charizard before I got KO'd by Celio and kept the Surf, I might have been able to put in some work. And you'll see why in a second here. I'm able to shield one Rage Fist and farm down, but I need this Blast Burn to KO. If it doesn't, I'm out of luck. And here we go. Blast Burn gets the Carbink into the red, but if I was able to keep that Surf on Celio, I could have had a better matchup into Annihilate, had some energy into the Carbink, and then I would have been able to come back into the Celio and Surf him down to take that game, but we end up losing, and we are 0-1 in the video. I'm actually 0-2 in the set because I was running a Malamar, Emolga, and Shadow Ninetales team, but I wanted to switch it up and run something spicy because I'm at Legend and I'm in Leaderboards and I want some content because I haven't uploaded in over 3 years and I want to be entertained. I was bored last night. I was playing these battles at 2 in the morning and I was kind of getting tired of running the same team over and over again, and I was thinking Shadow Charizard is a nasty sweeper. What is a team that I can pair it with to get some wins? And this is the team that I come across. Built it from scratch and had a lot of fun with it. So in the next matchup we have a Shadow Kingdra, and it similarly paces to moves against the Celio. So what I'm going to do is just build up to 2 Body Slams and fire them off back to back. The first one is going to be let go, but the second one should get a shield. Because my opponent does not throw the second Swift, I think that Celio maybe barely outpaces. I know for Kingdra it's 9 to the first Swift and 8 to the second, so it should be quicker pacing than Celio, so I think my opponent was just over farming. He gets to 2 moves, and is he at the Surf? This is going to be really devastating if it is. He is at the Surf, and that one-shots my Hippowdon. I get some farm on Charizard and just try to take a shield advantage into a winning endgame, but my opponent has Mantine, and he is very quickly going to be able to equalize this shield advantage. I'm going to throw an Air Cutter right off the bat, and I do get the attack boost. This is really the only win condition that we could have had. I do shield up the Twister because my opponent knows that any damage is valuable. And what I'm going to do is farm up to the max, shield up the next Twister, and if I need to get to 2 Blast Burns against my opponent, I will. Most things in the Open Great League will be able to outpace Charizard to a Blast Burn, so I'm not feeling very hopeful, but my opponent brings in Aegislash, and Aegislash is really, really tanky in his shield form, but Shadow Blast Burn hits like a truck. Is my opponent going to survive? The Blast Burn one-shots the Aegislash, and we're able to take out that opponent and grab the win. What a crazy game. But we are able to take out the win, and we have a very bad lead here. We have Celio into Tinkaton. I'm going to switch into my safe swap, which is the Hippowdon, and we see another Malamar. So I'm going to play out the matchup exactly how I did in the first game, try to win the even shields and get a shield from my opponent. I'm going to let the foul play go, knowing that I live, and get off my second Scorching Sands. Getting my opponent into the red and getting an energy advantage on hopefully my Charizard. I'm actually going to bring in Celio because I need to absorb some of this damage from Malamar. And as soon as this superpower is fired off, I'm going to switch into my Charizard and start getting some energy. And my opponent has a Shadow Marowak in the back. This is not an answer to Charizard. Neither is the Tinkaton. My opponent knows that he's going to get swept, and he top lefts. And we get into the next matchup here against a Clodsire. And this is a good lead, so we're going to stay in. And my opponent, a little bit late, switches into a Grumpig. So what I'm going to do here is chip and dip because I don't have a great answer to Grumpig. I'm going to fire off this Surf and then switch into Hippowdon. See if I can get to the Weather Ball. My opponent is sleeping on the job. I'm able to outpace the Weather Ball to a Dynamic Punch or Shadow Ball. And my opponent lets it go, but he lives on 1 HP. I would be shocked if he knew that he could live a Shadow Weather Ball, but we're just going to take the Shadow Ball energy, and we get hit deep into the red. Not deep into the red, but we get knocked down into the red, and I'm going to try to outpace to a Scorching Sands here, but my opponent is smart. He goes for the Night Slash before the farm down because he knew that I would be able to get to a Scorching Sands, and now I come into my Charizard and start getting some energy, but my opponent brings back in the Clodsire. What I should have probably done is switched into the Celio, but I go for the Blast Burn and then the switch, and if I want to be really ambitious here, I could go for a 1-shield farm down, especially since my opponent has Sludge Bomb. What I should have probably done here is thrown the Body Slam before they get this move off, but in the moment I was deciding to go for a 1-shield farm down and have a bunch of energy for the for the Pangoro in the back. I fire off the Surf, hoping that he knows that this is not going to do as much as an Air Cutter, but he does shield, and he's able to CMP tie me to the second move. I'm going to shield this, knowing I can get off my Surf. And I thought my opponent was energy dry because he threw 4 in the Night Slash, and then I thought he only had 4 Karate Chops of energy in the Night Slash, so I switch into Charizard, knowing that if it's a CMP tie, it's probably just a Night Slash. If he's able to get 1 extra Karate Chop of energy anywhere, he should have the Rock Slide, but he throws Close Combat, and I live on 1 HP, but I'm able to get this Air Cutter off, and this is going to be enough to knock out the Pangoro. And we take out that game. I really thought that my opponent would only have a Night Slash, but I guess Close Combat is what he had. We're able to climb up to 3072 elo, and we get into the next set. I don't keep all the videos or all the matches from my set, just the ones that are entertaining and that I can learn from. We have a Corsola. This is pretty bad because Corsola does run the Power Gem, which is going to do super effective into Celio. So what I'm going to do is farm 1 over after I get my Surf and catch the Power Gem, and we are able to catch the Power Gem onto our Hippowdon. And he's going to get some Astonishes to get some energy back, and that is because he has Azumarill in the back. And this is an absolute core breaker to the team. It's going to be really, really hard to overcome in a Azumarill match. And Azumarill is not super common in the Open Great League, but I realize on paper that my team is pretty weak to select water types, and I probably should switch it up here before too long. So this is the last matchup where I'm running Celio, and later I will switch into a beloved Pokemon that is near and dear to my heart. You'll see in just a minute. But my opponent's Azumarill puts in a ton of work and switches into a Shadow Primate. I am able to get this Body Slam damage off, which is really nice, and my switch timer is not quite up yet, so I switch into my Charizard here, and I think I should have let this Rage Fist go, because since I shield this, my opponent's going to be able to get to another one, but I am able to catch it onto my Hippowdon. That's a pretty safe catch, and now my Charizard has a ton of health in the back. I need this Air Cutter to knock out, otherwise I probably lose against the Corsola. And let's see, the Air Cutter is survived on 1 HP, and Azumarill has the move. I realize I need to let this go because Corsola overfarmed when I switched into my Hippowdon, so he's going to have a move if I shield the Azumarill, so either way, I'm pretty much out of luck, and my opponent is going to be at the move. I'm not close to an air cutter, and that might not even KO. And the Nightshade actually knocks out through the shield, which is kind of funny. But I think what I needed to do was throw the Blast Burn at the Azumarill, and then I might have been able to get to 2 air cutters before my opponent could get to 2 moves of his own. So I think there was a win con there. I just couldn't find it in the moment. So we take that loss and switch up the team. Now we have a triple Shadow team, and we lead into an opponent's Florges. And I'm going to throw the Weather Ball right away. Even if my opponent has Disarming Voice, I should be okay. I'm not too worried about it. So my opponent lets the Weather Ball go, and he's going to throw a move of his own. What's it going to be? And it is Chilling Water. So is my opponent running Chilling Water in Trailblaze? There's a chance. So what I do here is I actually don't throw my Weather Ball, and I go for a ton of energy. He throws another Chilling Water, and I'm going to pull a quick switch into Hippowdon, trying to farm down, but my opponent has an answer to this thing in the back. It is a Waterfall Empoleon. And this thing is not fun to see. I am able to draw out a shield with my Weather Ball, which is beautiful, because now I can shield a Hydro Cannon, and I should be able to get to a Scorching Sands of my own, and we are able to get there. Is this going to be taking out the Empoleon? It is not. My opponent takes his second shield off the board, and I'm actually able to come into Abomasnow. I throw one Powder Snow, and I think my opponent's counts were off because I'm at the Energy Ball. This Empoleon gets knocked out, and now we have our Charizard lined up against the Hisuian Electrode. This thing needs 2 Wild Charges to be able to take out my Charizard because I have a shield. And I tried to look for a potential catch, but he just doesn't switch. Maybe he was going to switch after 1 or 2 more fast moves, but we're able to take out the Electrode, and we're able to farm down the Florges. And that is a very nice win. Now we have a Shadow Steelix with Thunderfang. I do have 2 good answers to this, so I'm just going to stay into my Abomasnow, and I'm kind of under the influence that if my opponent has a Water type in the back, I'm in some trouble, but it should be playable. So my opponent actually runs Crunch. I thought it was going to be a Psychic Fangs. I was thinking maybe he was running Psychic Fangs Earthquake, so that Crunch kind of stunned me a little bit, did more damage than I was expecting, but he lets the second Weather Ball go and comes into Mantine to get an energy lead. And I'm able to get this Weather Ball off, and I want to preserve my Abomasnow for a potential catch. I also know that switching out into my Hippowdon, I can outpace the Mantine to a Weather Ball before he can get to a before he can get to a Water Pulse. And my opponent switches into his third Pokemon, which is a Gastrodon. Double Water in the back versus a Ground type and a Fire type. How can we win this game? Well, first of all, a attack drop on the Gastrodon from Scorching Sands will help. And I let the Body Slam go. If he would have had an Earth Power or Water Pulse, I probably just lose the game on the spot. But we are able to live the Body Slam, get a second Scorching Sands off, and get his second shield. Now we can come into Charizard with the shield advantage. And am I going to let it go? I am going to let it go. It is just a Body Slam, and I'm going to overfarm as much as I can. I get to a Blast Burn against this Mantine. Mantine's at half health. It is resisting the Blast Burn, and my opponent top lefts because he assumes that I can get a move off and either farm down or outpace the Gastrodon in the back to a move. So we take another nice win, and we have the Dream lead. We have a Unova Stunfisk against my Abomasnow. And my opponent switches into a Corviknight, and I switch into my Charizard, and he doesn't even build up to the payback. He just goes straight for an Air Cutter. So what I'm going to do is get as much energy as I can, fire off a Blast Burn, and let him decide whether he wants to shield or whether he wants to let it go. He does let it go and immediately switches back into his Stunfisk. I'm going to be able to outpace getting to this Blast Burn, and so my opponent puts up a shield. It looks like he's going for the farm down. Is he going to get there? No, he does not. Charizard lives on 1 HP and gets to this Shadow Blast Burn. My opponent probably hoping it's just an Air Cutter, and it is not. The Stunfisk gets rocked, but knowing that there was no play, really that thing had, I think he probably is just conceding the match, knowing that it's more than likely over. Knowing that he has Malamar in the back, I get a Weather Ball off and just pull a quick switch into Hippowdon. And now the Malamar is in the red because he let the Weather Ball go. I shield up the Superpower, This is honestly nice. The opponent probably should have thrown foul play, but he goes for a double superpower. And since I shielded up the first one, it's not going to do as much as 2 foul plays would have. Opponent comes back into Stunfisk and he throws the Mud Bomb, but this is the position that I want to be in. Having a shield advantage, I can farm down the Stunfisk and have a move ready for the Malamar. Opponent top lefts, and we are able to take another 3-2 set. And we go from 30-72 to 30-79. That is the beauty of being on leaderboards. You can go 3-2 and only gain 7 elo because you're going up against inferior competition, at least on the number scale. So we go into a Hydreigon lead. This is really good. I know the entire team comp because there's really only one team running Shadow Hydreigon and Shadow Camerupt. What I should have done here is thrown the Rock Weather Ball before my opponent was able to get to his Rock Tomb, but I don't, and also, I don't think that I can farm him down before he gets to his second move, so I throw the Weather Ball, he shields it, I do 1 damage through the shield, and I'm actually able to get DRE, or actually don't get DRE, I'm able to knock him out before the move comes through. So, in the new system, he would have been able to get his move off, but he does not, and opponent top lefts because he knows that the Hydreigon is absolutely walled, and he had Aegislash in the back. There's a chance that I didn't have an answer to Aegislash, so there was potentially some play if I didn't have Charizard, but my opponent is fed up and he leaves. I don't blame him. But now we have a Sableye, and Shadow Sableye in this season does run Drain Punch, which buffs up your defense, and it is a fighting move. So what I'm going to do is, since I outpace, I'm 5-4 to a move, and he is 5-5-5 to moves. So I'm just going to go into the 2 shields, and I throw my third Weather Ball, but the opponent makes a good play. He switches into Licky Licky, and I'm just going to switch straight into my Hippowdon here. He throws the Shadow Ball after 5 rollouts, so he is 2 away from a Shadow Ball and a Body Slam. He does throw the Shadow Ball, so what I'm going to do is throw 6 Sand attacks, throw the Scorching Sands, and just pray that this is going to be enough to knock out the Licky Licky. Scorching Sands goes through, but Licky Licky lives on true 1 HP, gets off the Body Slam, and the Body Slam is enough to knock me out. So I'm able to get 1 Ember of Energy on my Charizard, and the opponent throws the foul play right away. I thought he was 2 away in my mind, but he was 1 away. And now I throw 3 Embers, build up to the Blast Burn, and switch into my Abomasnow, and I'm able to snipe down the Sableye, and my opponent has a Corviknight in the back. I'm able to get to this Weather Ball, but this wouldn't really matter. All I need is this Blast Burn to get launched, and yeah, I'm able to get the Blast Burn off before that Sand attack takes me out, and we are able to take that game from the jaws of defeat. There was no way I should have won that endgame, but the one Pokemon that I could have seen that I would have been able to beat was the Pokemon that he had on his team. And in the last matchup here, we have our Shadow Abomasnow into Malamar. I try to pull an immediate switch into Hippowdon, but the game decides that I'm going to throw 1 Powder Snow. So I'm a little bit behind here, but it's not a huge deal. I'm still able to get a Scorching Sands off. I let the foul play go. Scorching Sands coming through, and it is caught on Diggersby. So what I'm going to do is go for another Scorching Sands. I'm able to get to it right before he gets to a Fire Punch. So I'm going to throw off this Scorching Sands. And now, what is my opponent going to do? He just farms up as much as he can, and I'm going to switch into my Charizard. Opponent is close to 100 energy, so I'm going to shield up the first Scorching Sands, but I'm going to let 1 go. Now we are even on shields 1-1. And I'm going to farm up as much as I can, but my opponent switches back into Malamar. I'm not playing around. I am going straight for the Blast Burn. Is this going to get shielded, or is he going to let it go? He lets it go. Blast Burn one-shots, and my opponent has so much energy, but he lets me get to an Air Cutter. Opponent is throwing the match, and he also lets the move go, so all of that Diggersby energy goes down the drain, and I pull a Blind Switch into Abomasnow. Opponent has Empoleon in the back, and he doesn't throw his Drill Peck. He lets me get to an Energy Ball before the Drill Peck. It looks like he's maybe farming up to 2 moves, but I still have a shield, and he has to throw before I can get this Weather Ball off. Now that this Drill Peck went through, I can just farm down with Charizard. He only has 1 move loaded. I'm able to sneak an Ember here, and it looks like he's just 1 or 2 Embers away from dying. Here we go, 1, 2, and actually 3, but I still had the Hippowdon as well. we're able to win, and I think we go 3-2. I guess that clip got cut, but here we go. I'm at 3,092 elo now, and that puts me at 235th on the leaderboards as of Saturday, August 15th, 2026. But guys, I am enjoying the Go Battle League so much. I have honestly taken a few years off ever since I stopped uploading. I've been playing Go Battle League here and there. I think I hit Legend maybe a couple times since then, but I took a pretty long break. And like even last season, I only played 343 matches hitting ace rank. So the fact that I'm able to hit leaderboards a season after only playing 340 matches, I think is a testament to Unk still got it and I'm not washed, and maybe I should play in more regional tournaments. But yeah, I might be back. This might be a one-off. I'm not quite sure yet, but if you guys want to see more, do comment below and let me know what you think. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.